You've applied for a job, you've gone for an interview. How long should you wait to receive a response? So, coming from a background in recruiting, working with clients across many different industry verticals, and running a very busy contingent staffing company where I had a large number of employees working at different clients' facilities, I've really, over the last couple of years, been more in a position of the candidate, working with job seekers, helping position them for job applications, job interviews, and starting work or starting with a new company. So my overall, how I look at the job hunting process has really changed. Whereas before I was very much on the employer's side, I'm now on the other side of the fence, working more with the candidates. Something I've was always a pet peeve of mine. It frustrated me to no end. I say it hasn't changed. It's the lengths that a lot of companies are making candidates go to, and the hoops they're making them jump through. And really, I think this video is a bit of a call or a plea to anybody who's in a hiring decision to really try to think a little bit more about the job seeker themselves. I remember one example of a candidate I was working with, to place them with a client, and they went for an interview. Then they were called back for another interview. And this is after the phone screen and the resume review. There was the phone screen, there was an initial interview, a second interview, and then a third interview. The candidate was traveling quite a distance to go and meet the company. And by the third time, they'd given actually everything they could possibly give. They'd gone through actually a test. There was an interview with the line manager, then an interview with the human resources manager, and then there was to be a third interview. I think the third interview was with the controller. It was an accounting position, and by this time they had given up. They said no more. This process has taken several months. From the initial application all the way through the interview process, and then they just gave up. They abandoned the process, leaving them with a bad taste in their mouth towards that company, towards my company that was actually trying to help them, and towards the whole hunting process in general. And that was a few years ago. And I just finished working with somebody yesterday, and she's interviewing for a really large brand. And they have scheduled already 3 interviews for her. Instead of doing one panel interview, they've scheduled 3 interviews for her over an extended period of time, and have told her that she is one of a number of applicants. So she's already being made to feel that there's quite a lot of competition for this job, that she is just one of many being put through this process. So her engagement levels dropped already. She's now, she actively is searching for a job, and she quite frankly, she needs a job. So to be told now that we've selected you, we've shortlisted you, but now you're going to go through this lengthy process while we evaluate you. What is that movie? They shoot horses, don't they? It just rings of that, making candidates go through this painful, lengthy process. If you're in a position like that, and you've gone through the initial screening, they've shortlisted you, they've selected you as a candidate, and you've gone through the first interview, I think you're more than justified in asking them for an explicit time frame of when a decision will be made and what other steps might you have to go through. If you feel that it is dragging on a little bit, reach out and tell them you're entertaining other offers, that you need to know, because you need to make a decision whether or not you're going to explore other opportunities. Be very firm in your time frame. If you've applied for a job on week 1, say that you need to have a decision towards the end of week 2. if you're comfortable doing that. Be very firm with the time frame. Don't let them drag out the process. Know your worth. Know the value that you're bringing to the company. If they can't make a decision about hiring you quickly, somebody else will. I'm not suggesting companies need to unnecessarily rush the process. Of course, they need to make a reasoned decision as to who they're going to hire. But at the same time, I think need to be very cognizant of the overall job seeker experience, the candidate experience. And really, I think that what happens during the interview process will dictate how that candidate, if they're selected, how they'll feel about the company once they do start working. So please, if you're an employer, really think about what the candidate is going through, what they've done to impress you, what they've done to get to this stage in the hiring process. All right, guys, that's my rant. I just wanted to get on and share that. But really express that, especially if you're a job seeker, know what it is that you're bringing to the company. Be firm in your time frame. Give yourself deadlines, or give them a deadline that if they haven't made a decision by X date, that you're moving on to somebody else. I hope you got some value from this video. Again, if you did, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and you subscribing to the channel. And until the next video, take care of yourself.